Hello, I have created a quick overview for the GED. So let's get started by going over what GED stands for. You probably think it means General Education Diploma, but did you know it actually means General Educational Development? Did you also know in 2012, 55.9% of all candidates only completed 10th grade or less, and 32.2% of the candidates waited more than 10 years before taking the GED? Did you also know that you can take the GED in a different language? So you're probably thinking, what does this mean? It means the GED is important. It's very important because it is equivalent to a high school diploma, and it can be a second chance for a youth or an adult. They would be allowed to go back to college or get themselves a better job. So when did the GED originate? It originated during World War II when veterans were coming home from World War II. It was a great way for them to quickly catch up on high school credits and move on to college. Although it was intended for veterans, it has become increasingly popular over the years for the everyday citizen. So, how can you take the GED? The first thing to consider is the age requirement. You must be at least 18 years old. However, if you are 17 years old, you can take the test as long as you fit in within the three categories listed below. First, if you have been out of school for at least 60 consecutive school days. Second, if you can provide a letter of request for the test from the military or a future possible employer. Third, if you are currently incarcerated in a California state or county correctional facility. Your next step would be finding a testing center. Testing centers are distributed throughout the United States. Each testing center mandates how frequently the test is given. It's typically given based on demand. It's also important to remember that you will need to pay a fee to take the test. And the testing center also mandates the cost of the test. On average, the test will cost $150. So what does the GED assess? The GED assesses how well the youth or adult has grasped the general concepts that would be taught from freshman year to senior year in high school. The GED covers 5 subject areas, which include writing, social studies, science, reading, and math. So the first section, writing. It's composed of 2 parts. The first part asks you to read a passage and answer multiple choice questions based on the passage. The passage will most likely be an email, a resume, or a report. And the multiple choice questions will ask you to fix a grammar or punctuation error found in the passage. The next part, part 2, which will ask you to write an essay that is based off the writing prompts, and the test will provide you a topic to write on. The next section, social studies. This is only multiple choice questions. The topics covered vary from U.S. history, economics, and world history. You can also be asked to interpret a chart, a speech, or a photograph. The next topic, science, which includes life science, physical science, and earth and space science. This section is only multiple choice questions also. Reading. This also includes reading a passage and answering multiple choice questions based off the reading. However, this passage will most likely be a short poem, an essay, or a short story. And the questions asked will most likely be comprehension questions based off the reading. The last section, math, which does cover basic math skills, which do include addition, subtraction, and multiplication. It also covers higher levels of math, which do include geometry and algebra. It is also important to remember that there is a designated section of when you can use a calculator. Here's the first question is a sample question of what a math question would look like. The second question is a science question. As you can see, a 12th grader would be able to answer these questions. So, what is the passing score? A total of 2,250 points total, which equals out to 450 points in each content area. If this sounds overwhelming, do not worry. There is a way to prepare for the GED. The first step you would want to consider is taking a practice test. This will help you see where you are academically. Depending on where you are, you may need to seek extra help and resources. You can look online and register for a course. You can buy a book which would provide study tips and guides. Or you can register for classes where you physically go in and are taught by an instructor. It's also important to remember that you can take the GED whenever you feel ready and comfortable. If you are on the other side and are wondering how to become an educator of the GED, it's important to remember that each state has their own requirements. On average, states require that educators have a bachelor's degree and that they pass the state exam. Once you pass the state exam, you will be licensed to be an educator of the GED. I hope you have found this video helpful on the GED.